Hi, this is Dennis and Christine from ChefDemicChefs and A Fresh Endeavor, our personal chef and meal planning service. Okay, what we're going to do is we're going to do a thing. It's kind of a kolak, an Indonesian dish, which can be made a few different ways, but I kind of made some variations to it. But I'm going to explain what I'm doing right now. It's kind of like a dessert, but they don't really eat desserts there, so it could be eaten for breakfast, lunch, dinner. It's more like a snack type food, and I know that Muslims are using it right now to break Ramadan. A lot of people in Indonesia. Anyhow, here's what we're doing now. I've got a pan right there, and I'm adding some butter.
Some nice whole butter to this.
I've got this started here. Now, Christine is going to explain what I have in the back right there while I'm getting this ready.
Okay, what we have back here is, you can see those curled tapioca, and it's been cooked in coconut milk.
Actually, what it is, it's been sitting for the last half hour in coconut milk.
That's what I get for sitting upstairs not paying attention.
What? Quite honestly, this is the first time I've done it this way, and you're gonna hear from us a million times that cooking everything doesn't have to be all done a singular way. And as far as I'm concerned, I've been doing this for 40 years at least, and I learned something new every day. So what I'm doing is I'm taking bananas, regular bananas, ripened bananas, and I'm putting it in butter.
You can also do this with a ripe plantain. Those little red bananas that you see in the grocery store that you never know what to do with. Well, this is a good idea.
So we're doing this right now. In Indonesia, some people do it this way where they brown things, and some of them do it where they just take the ripened bananas and they put them into the coconut milk that has been seasoned with other things. So I'm going to start with that.
What you're looking for is a roasted banana flavor. You're looking for a roasted sweet potato flavor and varying spice, because you're going to see what we're going to add to this. But there are a lot of different ways that it can be made. The beauty of this one is it can be done cold. It can be done as hot. And it all depends on the time of year. This is also something, oddly enough, that could be put in the freezer, run it through your ice cream freezer, and you've got a really unique dessert for summer. This is a combination of Muscovado sugar, a very dark brown sugar, and maple sugar crystals.
This is the Muscovado right here. It's not that easy to run into, so sometimes you can get
Find
it
at Whole Foods at the holiday. Okay, it looks like he's going to add, Dennis has been craving a bit of dessert, I guess, so.
Well, yeah, I'm going to.
And some organic brown sugar.
You can use regular cane sugar, you can use date sugar, you can use a lot of different types of sugar.
Honestly, some people will just simply use the flavor of, you get a natural sweetness in banana, natural sweetness in sweet potato. If you're not looking for any additional sugar, you don't have to have that. This is also something that can be done with coconut oil. And you don't have to use butter, or you can use a vegan spread if you're not looking to have the dairy. Also, low-fat coconut milk, full-fat coconut milk, whatever you decide you want to do.
Now, what I've done, I took 1.5 cans of coconut milk, and I put in there 1/3 of a cup of whole pearl tapioca. And I let it sit for a half hour. Like I said, I haven't done it this way before, but I did some additional reading, and basically that's what a lot of people do. So I decided, you know what, I'm going to try that today. Sure, not going to hurt anything. Now, some people will make the caramel first, and then they'll add the bananas, and some people will use the butter and the brown sugar and then add a little bit of cream to it, make the caramel, and then add these. What I like to do is I like it in there with the butter and the sugar, and I want to make sure that the bananas themselves get a little caramelized. It's just preference. So we've got that there. Now I'm going to take this and I'm going to split it out, because I'm going to make this a couple different ways, just so you can see. That's one way, right here. I'm putting the bananas in there. And then the other way, I have a casserole dish right here. And I'm going to add the bananas to that. Okay. Now, next, I have some sweet potatoes. These sweet potatoes were taken, and for about an hour, they were roasted in the jackets, just like you see. And you can take them right off.
Peel off, gorgeous.
I roasted them whole. I put a little bit of salt on the outside, and I roasted them just like you see. And the nice thing about sweet potatoes is they're so easy, and the skins come right off. Some people even like to eat it with the skin. In this dish, I'm not going to, but if you prefer it that way, by all means have it that way. I like to do it this way. Another way that you can do it is you can peel them in advance, cut them into large cubes, and then season them, add a little bit of butter, ghee, some type of like avocado oil or something, and roast them in the oven. They take about 45 minutes to an hour, about the same amount of time. So, how do you know when they're done? You poke them with a knife, and if it goes all the way through, they're soft enough, they're done.
This is also if you have sweet potatoes that you've made, anything in a neutral flavor.
Absolutely.
Got them sitting around, they're left over. Make yourself a batch of Kolak.
There you go. So basically, I'm doing this, and I'm going to add a little bit more butter to this pan here.
This is probably more of a desserty version because after our ice cream escapade last night, we decided this did sound good. I have to laugh, though, this recipe. Years ago, we did an Indonesian dinner for a set of clients. It was an Indonesian-style dinner party. Did the research and really couldn't settle on a dessert until we came upon this Kolak. Everything sounded good. We made it. It was fantastic. There was an Indonesian person at the party who said, "This reminds me of home." It's like, wow, maybe we actually did hit on something.
Exactly.
So we started suggesting it to different clients over the years, different occasions, and served to so many people in so many different forms. Funniest story is we made it as a option for a sweet potato dish at a Thanksgiving party, and found out later on that there had been some dissension in the household after we had left all the packaged Kolak there, because someone had snuck in and eaten all of it, and the rest of the household wasn't very happy with that individual because they wanted Kolak too. But
who wouldn't want it?
Yeah, and
this
his
is one of my favorites.
it really is. He's been pushing to
love it.
do this one for several
I
days.
love it. It can be now. The reason I do them a little bit differently, and I'm going to show you another method more of a traditional method that some people do also. Now I'm taking a little bit of cardamom, and I should have actually done this at the beginning.
Oh, you should smell this.
But
God, fresh cardamom is simply amazing.
But I love cardamom, so that's what I'm doing. I'm not going to keep all the shells. You can if you want. It's no big deal. And I'm going to add this right to the. I'm going to add it right to the coconut and tapioca right here. This should go for, after it's been soaking in this for a half hour. This should go probably about another 15 minutes. But I always test it out to see how it is. Okay, so that's the whole. Now. Did I put in the vanilla bean?
I thought I saw it floating on top there. It's no
maybe.
longer on there.
I don't see it.
I don't
So
see
you know
that.
what? I probably did.
So there's a vanilla
So anyhow,
bean.
you can take the vanilla bean and you can take it and you can split it and put it into the mixture and cook it along with it.
Which, honest to us,
You know, I may have done it. Who knows? Sometimes
hey, worst case, throw in some vanilla extract.
sometimes these videos get a little
we get
crazy.
fancy schmancy, and this is what happens. So
We talk.
We
For
keep
some
it casual.
weird reason, we talk. I don't know why.
Gab, gab, gab.
So I'm going to take that. I'm going to add some. I like cinnamon, so I'm adding some cinnamon to this.
For years, we had a client who she was from Indonesia, and her
I'm
husband was from.
I'm adding some powdered cardamom You're going to get some of the flavor from the whole cardamom inside the liquid, but I also like a little bit of the other.
At any rate, I'm sorry to have interrupted, Dennis. We had the
not at
client bring the, who would have her mother. She was from Indonesia. Mom would come over and visit from Jakarta, and before she would leave, she would come over and bring us fresh cinnamon off the bark of trees that she had in her yard, fresh picked cloves, nutmeg, the mace that came off the nutmeg, and we would have a care package when Mama came to visit. And some of that stuff, the cinnamon stick would be a foot long. And
it was wonderful.
It was such a treat.
Now I'm going to take this, and I mean the potatoes, sweet potatoes are already cooked, but I want to put some in here. The rest of it, you guessed it, is going in the casserole dish.
And you're getting an aromatic spice. It's heady right now. This stuff is, God.
It's so good.
It is. It's so good. This is such a freaking treat.
So what I'm going to do is take the pan that I have and move it over here. I don't think I need the burner right now, but I'm going to move this over just so people can see it.
And it's also going to heat that cardamom in there a little bit so that infuses the flavor. So you've got cardamom in the coconut milk with the tapioca and also the powdered cardamom on the sweet potatoes themselves. That gets mixed with bananas, and we're on our way.
So we're almost there, and we're going to take some of this. I want to test it out a little bit to make sure that it's the way it should be. Let's...
Poor Dennis testing.
Yes, always. So the funny thing about it, this dish is good when it's first done. It's fantastic when it sits a day.
When it sits a day, you know how it's things like, sauce, meatballs, meatloaf, that sort of thing. Some stews, when it sits for a day, the flavor just pops.
Now.
And you got to make enough Kolak so that you do have some for the next day.
Always.
So you can experience that.
So what I'm going to do now is I do not have enough sugar in there. So I'm going to add some sugar. And I've got a little bit of cane sugar here. I have so much sugar in this house.
What's funny is, we don't even eat a lot of sugar, but
you have to,
this is one, if I was
making
it, I would make it with less sugar. He prefers a sweeter dish, so this is his baby, and we're going for sweet right now.
You have the sweet potatoes, you can do whatever you want. I add a little tiny bit of salt to mine, too.
I think a little bit depends on when you're planning on serving it as well, because if it's more of a snack, you may not want as much sugar. For dessert, you might want more.
Now, the casserole one, I am going to add some more butter to it. The other one I'm not going to. And I'm going to grab some limes. Or am I?
You are going to grab limes.
Okay.
You're going to grab a lime. We had a lime in that bag, fresh lime.
Absolutely.
We didn't initially put fresh lime into this, and all of a sudden one day he decided, we're making it for somebody, and decided, I want to add some fresh lime juice to this. And
I like lime.
Put it this way, we've never gone back because the fresh lime adds
So I'm adding some lime to this.
another level.
There's a certain type of leaf, and I'm not going to pronounce it right. I think it's called Banang, if I'm not.
That one,
And they take the fresh leaf and they tie it around into almost like a bow, and then they add that to the dish that they're making. Probably a couple minutes left into it, and it gives it an aromatic flavor to it. So now some differences. If you were probably in Indonesia, they do not use the tapioca. And so they just do it with the fresh coconut milk. And I just like the tapioca in there because I like to thicken it up, especially the way that I do it for when I'm doing a casserole type dish. So we're gonna try this. Make sure that the sugar is right. The tapioca pearls are fine. I tasted it.
He's finding excuses to taste it.
I'm always looking for excuses.
I know, baby.
Now, here's the deal. I'm adding the rest of the lime in here because we've already determined that I like lime.
I love lime.
And
so
now I was going to use this Madagascar vanilla bean and just split it down and put it into the liquid, but I forgot to do it. So I'm using vanilla bean paste. This vanilla bean paste is great. Or I will be using it if I can open it.
worst case scenario, we end up grabbing the vanilla extract. I got Mexican, I got bourbon, Madagascar.
I've got it.
He's got it.
We've got a million things. We love the flavor of this. So I'm going to put...
Now, for me, I love the cardamom, but for me, vanilla, nothing tops vanilla for me.
So we put that in there. I'm going to add a little tiny bit of cinnamon to this. And I'm going to add a little bit more cardamom because
it's
like
this
cardamom.
house and we love cardamom.
Right. So yeah, it's one of those things I do cook for myself, for my taste. There are times when I have to cook for clients and do what they want to do. That's a joke.
Yeah, it's
That's a
the
joke.
the customization for clients is so different than what we do at home.
know.
It's like you make whatever they want because you know full well that your ass is going to leave that house. You're going to go home and you're going to cook and eat whatever you want. So what you're leaving for them better be what they want.
Now, if they were making it over there, and in an Indonesian country, it would be similar to this right here, except without the tapioca. And I'm probably sure that some people do use tapioca, but it's not necessarily traditional. So I just like it because it thickens it up a little bit and it's not so watery. So you could have it like that, and you let it cool, and then you eat it after it cools down. So Christine, the other thing. Now we'll do the other one. This one here.
That guy's going to go to room temperature, and then we are going to put him in the refrigerator.
Exactly.
This one,
I'm taking and the sweet potato, and I'm putting that in there, and then I'm mashing it because I like it. It eats really, really well as a snack this way.
and yet again, another way we differ. I prefer the chunkier style, like the one going in the fridge. Dennis prefers the mashed, which is so nice to have more than one way to do it.
Especially after it sits for a day like this. It is really, really good. And you just put a little bit of that on your plate.
So freaking good.
And of course I'm going to have to taste it. But the caramelized bananas are so good in there. And the tapioca helps set it up a little bit. Oh my God, I love it. So anyhow.
The maker is pleased.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So anyhow, that's that. Christine, do you have anything to add on that?
I don't.
Okay.
I think a good Kolak is one of those
Tapioca,
things where you've
just
got
so you
your
can see it.
just some of the ingredients, your choice of sugar, sweetening at any level that you want it. Coconut milk, light, full coconut, coconut cream, cardamom, whole or powdered, cinnamon, vanilla, and your roasted sweet potatoes. Get your fresh lime going. You've got a couple different ways to do it, and we'll be taking photographs of what this looks like after it settles. Thank you so much for watching,
Absolutely.
and we will see you soon.